Welcome to our Water, Life and Danger unit. As you can see from the unit roadmap, the unit is mostly about flooding, and we begin with 4 case studies of flooding. Our goal is to discover what can cause floods. By looking at a range of data from each of these case studies, students are able to identify 4 key factors that affect flooding: extreme precipitation, rapid snowmelt, high tide flooding, and storm surge. So we've got one level of cause and effect, but we also want to look at another link in the chain of cause and effect. Climate change can aggravate all of these factors through an amplified water cycle, warmer springtime temperatures, thermal expansion causing sea level rise, and intensified storms. We also want to look at the other side of the cause and effect by looking at some of the flooding effects, including disruptions to clean water, our fresh food supply, and the danger of erosion. But we can also affect both ends of this chain with human solutions. All these elements of the cause and effect sequence are illustrated here in the unit roadmap. Let's look at how we discover them, chapter by chapter. In chapter 1, we introduce the case studies and discover that many factors can cause flooding. In chapter 2, we make sure that students have a really solid understanding of the states of matter of water, including how temperature affects matter. We'll need that in chapter 3, where students learn about how climate change can make flooding worse, because it accelerates evaporation in the water cycle and causes thermal expansion to make sea levels higher, and students make physical models of each of these processes. In chapter 4, we look at the real-world impacts of flooding on people, disruptions to our food supply and our water supply, and damage to homes and landscapes. There's some great hands-on activities where students engineer a water filter and build levees to protect homes, always thinking about the equity and environmental implications of their solutions. In chapter 5, we focus on reducing risks, looking at ideas that we can come up with to minimize flooding impacts both through mitigation to avoid flooding hazards and adaptation to deal with floods when they do happen. In chapter 6, students are emergency managers in one of 2 cities. They'll participate in a role-playing where they plan and react to a flooding scenario in their town. So that's our comprehensive look at water, life, and danger. While there's lots of dangers in floods, we hope that the unit empowers your students to come up with solutions to protect life in their own community. So let's get started.